Australia is truly the lucky country with the biggest national parks, too many caves to choose from, fantastic islands and its communities on those islands, and of course the notable mention of the Blue Mountains in New South Wales. Also, don't forget those arid lands around Tasmania. So Australia is truly the land to pitch your tent, wherever you go, wherever you park. So without further ado, let's get right into it. When most people think of camping, they think of high traffic locations that have been mowed down so the grass is somewhat small and closer to the main road. Most people think of these places as having hot showers, bookable cabins, and yeah, somewhat a stay of 2 nights, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you what real camping is or isn't, because that's more than obvious, but here are a few ideas of things you should remember if you're coming camping in Australia. There should be a few sandy rivers near you that you can camp at. Also, I am sure that there are plenty of parks that will not take issue with you pitching a tent for a few nights. I don't mean local parks, of course, but national parks. Just don't go into the populated areas and always carry photo ID. If you get stopped, make sure you are polite. These rangers can kick you out of the park if they want to. But if you're thinking of having the entire campfire experience, you might need to go to a designated area that will allow these campfires. Remember also the number 1 rule of camping, and that is to pack 2 of everything that you need. That is, for every 1 person, you pack 2 of one thing. Obviously, you can't pack 2 of the same person because only one of those persons will exist, so I assume you know what I mean. So that means 2 tents, 2 bags, 2 toothbrushes per person, and make sure to pack them in different bags. The reason why you do this is because in case something happens to one of those bags, you see? Such as, what if one of those bags gets wet? What if it gets dirty? Or what if you wake up one day and find a snake in one of those bags? You'd have to throw it away because you can't kill the snake because the snake might kill you. Always make a list of what you need and don't need. Obviously, if you're going to a beach, you're going to pack for a beach. If you're going to a national park, it might not be helpful to pack a pair of flip-flops. I think instead you're going to need some hiking shoes or even some boots. Sometimes you're just going to need to exercise some thorough common sense. So if you're going camping, make sure you go and bring all the things that you don't even think you even need, such as toilet paper, toothpaste, hats, and jackets. Also, it might be helpful to bring a small tomahawk axe or a shovel just in case you need it. The shovel might come in handy to bury your ash, and the axe might come in handy to chop some small branches up for firewood. Always bring the spices. Campfire cooking doesn't just have to be a hunk of meat spit roasted over a fire. You know, you can get kind of fancy with it. The ash does add a nice smoky flavor to the meat, so why not bring some salt and pepper, some garlic powder, or even some chili flakes. If you decide to cook over the open fire, bring some apples, and make sure to cut the apples up finely and throw them over the fire just as your meat finishes cooking. It adds a nice fruity flavor to the meat. Whenever you're going to a national park or a designated camping area, you must always follow the rules, because the rangers of these parks can be really strict, and this is due to their educational background. Most of these rangers have been trained in biodiversity, and that's one of their major responsibilities because, you know, they're there to protect national parks, but also balancing the interests of tourists. It means that visiting a national park where you're camping out in the middle of anywhere, you've got to be respectful about what you're bringing, and you've also got to be respectful to the traditional owners of the land here in Australia. That means bringing no alcohol, no drugs, and not leaving your rubbish behind. So there are a few simple things that can make your experience more authentic and also make you a welcome tourist. The parks are for everyone, but make sure you're mindful of people's sleeping times. Singing and dancing around a campfire at night is well nice, but you've got to consider other people around you. Now, if there are not many people around, by all means go wild. But if someone does come up to you and ask for you to shut up, then you should probably do so because it means that they're trying to sleep. So, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.